Well, here we go again. It's been another week of widespread anti-President-elect Trump demonstrations, with some arrests for disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. One man was shot in Portland, Oregon, and he survived.
They're harassing Latinos, Muslims.
I am so saddened to hear that, and I say stop it if it helps. I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera, stop it.
And while Trump and his transition team, although reportedly in turmoil at times, continue to make key appointments like Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions for Attorney General. Then we have Kansas Republican Mike Pompeo, CIA, Alabama Senator Mike Flynn, who is now the National Security Advisor. We also have Chief of Staff Reince Priebus and controversial former Breitbart News Chief Stephen Bannon as White House Chief Strategist. It goes on and on. What a week it's been. Tom Minkin, take off.
When I walked into an antique store last, the owner said to me, always remember one thing. If you break it, you bought it. And folks, we've bought it.
Baltimore City Councilman Brandon Scott.
We have a president who says he wants it to stop, but he's appointing people that support the ideologies of these folks that are attacking people. Can't talk out of both sides of his mouth.
Caroline Arball.
Well, I actually think it's interesting that the media is again trying to control the narrative, saying that they're at odds with one another when he's done more than any other president-elect has by this point. You might not like all of the appointments, but he's actually ahead of the game as far as being organized and, in control, and that's as an outsider.
Talk show wizard Jimmy Mathis.
No, I agree with you. The word turmoil, you may not agree with all these appointments. He is moving through at a record speed right now. I do not see an administration in turmoil.
All right, welcome everybody to Square Off. Here we go again. I'm Richard Scher, brought to you each and every Sunday at this time by our good friend Peter Angelos in the law offices of Peter Angelos. If you or a loved one has been hurt because of someone else's negligence, be smart. Pick up the phone and call the law offices of Peter Angelos at 1-800-556-5522 and schedule your free consultation.
I predict that in 20 and 30 years they will write books about this president and how well he did and how he followed through with his promises, and that the American people loved the job that President-elect Trump did.
All right, Tom, I see you nodding, shaking. Do you think in 20 or 30 years they'll be writing books about?
Oh, they'll be writing books, and it won't be 20 or 30 years from now. But to quote the estimable Reince, some people will love this guy, but a whole lot of people won't. And the things that he does, well, actually, what he's going to do is totally unknowable, because this man is the definition, the actual definition of a person who knows, has taken every side of every position. What all remains to be seen. Nothing can be predicted.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on one part, that everyone doesn't know what he's going to do. And I think a lot of the fear that's happening right now is unfounded, because they're basing this on their idea of what might happen instead of based in reality.
Well, I guess, listen, first they write books about every president, so of course they're going to write books about him, right? But I think that there is an unknown, and I think that a lot of it has to do is that the fact that we had a campaign where we didn't really hear about policy. We heard a whole lot of rhetoric and no policy, and that's why people are in fear.
Look, this has been 5 years in the making. President Obama spent a lot of political capital coming out of the gate on the Affordable Care Act. Reality is most Americans did not want that. Led to the Tea Party movement, led to the Democrats losing control in a self-described land-shellacking election in 2010. Then they lose the Senate. It was supposed to be impossible for Donald Trump to win the White House. Does that. More governorships across the country. So this was an election about a referendum, not only on the president, but also on the dereliction of duty from the Republicans on not using their power, the tools afforded to them in the Constitution, to hold this president accountable.
Which has resulted in a tabula rasa, a blank slate. We literally have no idea what is going to happen. And I, for one, admittedly, I'm the oldest person at the table, possibly excepting Richard.
Excuse me, I did not mean to throw my hammer.
But excuse me, I don't like the country going in a direction where no one has an idea of what's going to happen.
I'm not sure that's true. I mean, you look at the big ticket issues that Donald Trump ran on. Look, he's flip-flopped on almost everything. I'm not going to defend that. But within the first 100 days, getting rid of the Affordable Care Act.
The Unaffordable Care Act.
Getting rid of Common Core. I mean, the news that broke 3 weeks ago, premiums going up 20%. Every time, they haven't delivered on this, but every time the Republicans have ran on getting rid of that thing, they win elections. And Donald Trump is the most recent to do that.
Now, he's done some unorthodox things. President-elect Trump has spoken to world leaders on the phone, They've given him no notes, no briefings from the State Department prior to any of the calls, and this has been precedent.
And by the way, the phones he's using are totally unsecured, which, if it sounds familiar, maybe one of the things he attacked Hillary Clinton for was talking on unsecured phones. Curiously, within a week of his being elected, he's doing the same thing.
He's doing the same thing, but let's look at the very first phone call he got after his acceptance speech, General Sisi in Egypt. I mean, we have a very damaged reputation on the world stage right now. So if we're able to rebuild our relationship with Israel, with Egypt, foreign leaders are reaching out to him
That's
right
a
now.
good thing. Right, that's a good thing for all of us.
It's important that we do it the right way, too. Yeah. And we have to be very wary of his relationship with Russia. That should be scary for all Americans. It shouldn't be something
I don't believe there is a relationship with Russia.
We're going to find out. According to him, it is. This is the president-elect talking, not me. We have to be very aware. And like Mr. Tom is saying, we have to. You can't say, Hillary did this, Hillary did that, and you start doing it. If you're going to be a president that ran on something, saying someone was insecure and can't be trusted with national security, you have to go by the book.
President Obama caught a lot of flack back in 2008 when he said that he would sit down and have a conversation with Iran. There's nothing wrong with putting diplomacy first, and I thought that that was really unfair of the president. The same way right now, there is nothing wrong with having a dialogue with Russia. Again, it doesn't mean that you capitulate to absolutely everything with them, but to start out with diplomacy, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Unless on secure lines, that's fine.
What you have to consider is Russia is complicit in his election by all reasonable standards.